You've been talking, and I've read statements that you've made about how branding needs to be redefined and relooked at as serving consumers. I want you to amplify this really in the context of maybe one brand or several brands that P&G has.
Sure. One of the things that we have really seen is that after the recession, consumers really also hit the reset button. And right now we have more cynicism and distrust of brands, companies, and governments than we ever have. The second thing is, because of the internet, transparency is an essential way of life. So consumers can and will find out what you care about, what you do, and how you think about things. So with that in mind, we have to rethink brand building. We need to shift from marketing to people to serving consumers, inspired by each brand's purpose. And what that means is we need to shift from selling attributes that we want to sell to touching consumers with what they want to be touched about. So what we have done is really defined a brand purpose for every one of our brands, and then we focus on touching and serving them. Pampers is a great example, which we just launched into India. Pampers' purpose is to improve babies' happy, healthy development. It's a diaper that has dryness, fit, and comfort, which allows babies to sleep, play, and explore, which improves their development. And now, for those of us that have children, we know that when a baby sleeps through the night, things are good.
Families are happy then, isn't it?
Families are happy. And Pampers allows babies to sleep through the night through an idea we call golden sleep, where a night of a golden sleep will lead to a better tomorrow.
What I'm curious about is that while this is an exciting new way of looking at branding and marketing, there are several companies that are doing this, and they could be your immediate competitors. It could be Coca-Cola doing water harvesting, rainwater harvesting in India. It could be Unilever, working with women and livelihoods. Where is the differentiation for your brands and even for your company as a corporate entity?
Sure, the difference is this. We touch 4 billion consumers in the world right now, more than any other company. We intend to touch 5 billion consumers in the next 5 years, and we eventually will touch every consumer. We have 40 brands that are either $1 billion or close to $1 billion. We have actually about 20 that are $500 million, 20 that are more than $1 billion. Each one of those brands has a brand purpose. Each one of those brands touches consumers' lives in a range of different ways. Products, services, acts, and also things like entertainment. So with the scale of what we have, we can reach the entire world's population. The other thing is that purpose in serving is not just acts of kindness and generosity. That's a very important point. But it's about making making a life better every day with a product or a service. Tide Naturals is a good example. We just launched in India. Tide Naturals makes life better because what it allows a mom to do is get a white shirt for her son, so when he goes into his school with his uniform, it's white, and she has pride in that, I think. Services. In Tide, and this is actually in the U.S., we provide a service, it's called dry cleaning. We have dry cleaning that's so much better than any other dry cleaning that's ever been done. Pampers. What we do with Pampers, we go into villages, and we make sure we bring pediatricians into those villages to give people the pediatrician services that they wouldn't otherwise receive. So really, it's a breadth of things that we provide.
So I understand what P&G is doing and the philosophy behind this. I still don't understand what, from the consumer's perspective, if brands across companies and competing brands are all on this bandwagon of being good for the community locally and globally, what's the challenge of differentiation going to be for you?
The challenge of differentiation is really the same as it's always been, because what it is defining what your purpose is and then what you need to do to be able to make life better, and how you do that in a range of different ways. I think for the consumer, it's good if everybody does it, because what it does is that it makes life better around the world, and it keeps driving us to be able to do more and better things.
You're meeting your agency partners here, you've had a lot of interactive sessions with them. Is there any one concern you have about the way they are approaching the function that they have to perform? Are there things that you can suggest or that you expect so that the relationship between the world's largest advertiser and agencies can be better and more optimal?
What I expect, and I gave this challenge to the agencies, is what I really expect is every agency needs to define its brand purpose. Every one agency needs to use that purpose as inspiration for big creative ideas. And these are big creative ideas that last, okay? Not just creative one-offs, big creative ideas that last. And what I see sometimes is sometimes there are some very creative ideas that are wonderful, fantastic, but they last only a few weeks. We need sustained ideas that last year after year.
Procter's CEO and chairman Bob McDonnell has been making this statement very famously. It's getting quoted all the time, and that is P&G's goal is to add 1 billion new consumers by 2015. So Marc Pritchard, if that's the brief, how do you execute it? What's the challenge? Where do you go?
The challenge
India?
is you could definitely go to India because there are many consumers in India that we have, and we, as you well know, we've launched into about 7 different categories, but in just the last few years. But let me give you an example of this. In India, 7 categories. In the United States, 35 categories. So we have a lot of room to go. You know, per capita consumption in the $2 to $3 range in places like India, $100.
How do you bridge that gap?
What you do is you continue to launch into new categories. For example, we have launched over the past several years, we've launched into brands like Whisper, Pampers, Olay, Tide, and those fours. So you just keep launching and keep into the different categories. The other thing is you bring products at the high end,
yes,
and you bring products in the middle end, and you bring products at the low end. You know, again, Gillette, Fusion at the high end, Mach 3 at the middle end, and Vector Plus at the low end. Then you expand horizontally as well. You go into Tide or Ariel in detergent, and then you move into additives. So those are the ways in which we do this. And then we go, of course, into various markets.
Is there a new sense of momentum? Because we are interpreting, or we are seeing signs of a new sense of momentum where P&G is concerned in India, largely on the price and innovation or variant front. Would you say emphatically that there is a new momentum where P&G is concerned in India?
Yes, definitely in India. We have been growing in India in double digits for several years now. And,
in 2008, I remember A.G. Lafley telling us that the sales in India were about $700 million.
That's right, and they're getting very close to $1 billion right now. And we see that we will continue to grow at that very heavy clip because, as I said, we've just started. We just launched Pampers, and Pampers is an $8 billion brand worldwide. So we really see that India has tremendous opportunity for us to be able to grow.
What's the change in thinking or strategy where India is concerned? Because besides the fact that you know, brands are coming in from the P&G portfolio, besides the fact that better value is being made available or more affordable P&G products are being made available to Indian consumers, there's also very aggressive marketplace activities, isn't it? Whether it's price drops or competitive advertising, which is even landing up in the courtrooms. This is not the way P&G was, let's say, about 3-4 years ago.
Well, what P&G has done is we have made India a very clear focus area. It's one of our top markets with 3 billion consumers and many consumers that we can improve their lives on. And we see just a range of opportunities from the high end in terms of in cities. We also have villages that we can reach, and we can reach virtually every village. So we see the ability to be able to reach those consumers and touch their lives. And so what we've done, for example, on Tide is we just launched Tide Naturals. Okay, Tide Naturals is a product that has the essence of lemon and sandalwood.
Which did some exciting competitive advertising that got it into trouble, and we got a lot of fodder for our shows.
Yeah, but you know what our focus is? Our focus is really not on being aggressive. Our focus is on touching the lives of consumers. That's what's really important. So I think what you see is an expansion of our portfolio, and you see that we want to touch as many consumers as we possibly can.
So I was just going to get a headline out of this. Marc Pritchard, P&G says the gloves are off. You're not giving me that, are you?
Not going to give you that because I don't focus on that. We focus on consumers. Because there's so many lives that can be improved in India, and that's really what we're all about. And when we stay focused on that, that's really what makes the biggest difference. And that's what allows us to get more market share.